Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Doing all right. What are we looking at today?
Building some cubbies.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we built one a while back, but it had a back on it.
And a bench, right?
Yeah.
So it was more sort of like to sit at with a spot for your shoes underneath, hooks up top.
Right.
This is more sort of like the locker design.
Yeah, there'll be 3 individual sections made of 3/4-inch plywood with openings on the bottom for 2 baskets and 2 baskets at the top of each.
Interesting. So you said individually? So each one is going to be separate and then you're going to put them together?
Yep. It's a big cabinet, and so you've got to move it in there wherever it's going to go.
Yeah.
Oh, also, we have to be able to get it downstairs.
True.
So we're going to put it together with these cap screws right here. And it's basically, you unscrew them. There's a cap screw and a bolt. You just drill a hole, and you screw those together and basically make them nice and tight. And all you have is a finished screw on each side, nothing sticking out.
I like it. And then obviously your hooks. You've
hooks.
got a row of them up top here.
Right, we'll put a wide board across the back and place our hooks in there.
Very nice. So
On the outside, we'll also do a piece of 3/4 also, so each side, each center section will be 1.5 inches thick. And to hide that, we'll use some solid wood, make the stiles and the rails, and when it's painted, it will look great.
love it. Did you rip your sides to width already?
Well, the nice thing is I went to the home center and I said what I needed, a bunch of pieces. I need them rough cut to about 16 inches. He cut all the sheets up for me, but we still have to fine tune everything to give it the size, exact size that we want.
Yeah, that's nice actually, because if you had to go in and get that 4x8 sheet of plywood times 2 or 3, carrying it out of there could be trouble. So
Carrying
cut
it
it
out.
for you.
Getting it onto the truck and then also getting it up here is tough.
All right.
All right, so now we'll cut our length.
So you're going to cut a bunch at the same time?
Yeah, I'm gonna stack them up and I'm gonna cut these 3 right here, but I have 4 pieces. And we're gonna score the bottom of that. So what I wanna do is I wanna mark my length of 80 inches, and I always like to make a little check mark like that. So I always put my straight edge on the point. Now you ask me what the point is. Now I put the straight edge on that, take my square, all right. So now that's the first and the last time that I have to measure for the height of the sides, because I've cut 3. And now I actually have a mark right here, so when I make the other end even, I use this as a reference. It'll make the rest of the sides all the exact same length.
That's nice.
All right, that's our sides. Now we can cut all of the lengths for our shelves, which will be 23 3/8. All right, we have all our pieces cut to length. Now all we need to do is true them up widthwise on the tabletop. Now that we have all of our pieces cut, we have to start thinking about how we're going to install the shelves and attach them to the sides. And I decided to use dados. The shelves that are in the middle and the seat on the bottom are going to be 2 pieces of 3/4-inch plywood. So they're going to go into an 1.5 inch dado. And at the top, right there, it's only going to be 3/4 of an inch, single piece. And the bottom is a 3/4-inch dado.
Okay.
All right? So now we want to make sure that all of the dados line up with all of the sides exactly right.
So is this essentially now your template to set your dados for all the other boards?
Right. This is my guide for every shelf, every board. To do that, we clamp the boards together And to cut the dados, I made a jig. And that's basically an adjustable piece, and it's set to the width of the double in this case. Goes right on there, just like that.
Oh, so it actually is also holding your jig in place.
It's lining everything up exactly. I tighten the jig up onto my pieces, make sure that they don't move. Once it's square, clamp it. I'm ready to use the router. And this is the router we're going to use with a templating bit, also known as a flush cutting bit. And there's a bearing right here at the top of the bit. And this is flush with the cutter. This bearing is going to ride along the side of our templating guide, and it's rolling right along, cutting off the piece below, flush with our jig. I just move it back and forth because I have the bit set at the depth that I want. All right, so now we're just going to change the width, go down to a single piece, bring them in nice and snug, tighten it down. Perfect. Now I'm going to drill a series of pilot holes through each dado, 3/8 of an inch up and 3/8 of an inch down from each edge of the dado. That will ensure that each screw goes into the center of each shelf. While I drill the holes, why don't you sand the board flat on each side of the dado? You don't need to sand the entire board, but it'll make it easier when we put the system together so you don't have to sand tight into the corner. Now we're ready to install the shelving. We've pre-drilled all the holes. We have our double pieces right there. I'm going to use a 2-inch coarse thread screw. Pulls it together nicely. You got it? All right, now the last thing for the cubbies, we're going to put this 6-inch, 3/4 inch thick backer piece right here, and that will be a place that we can mount our hooks to hang a jacket or a coat or whatever you want to hang to. All right, now we stand it up, put the 3 pieces together. All right, we have all our stiles and rails cut, and now we're ready to face frame the cabinet. I'm only going to nail on this side right here into this cabinet only, because I don't want to fasten it to this cabinet. I want to be able to release this cabinet from this cabinet if we want to move it. There you go.
Look at that.
Looks pretty good.
It looks really good.
Now I think we need to convince Morrow to paint it, but I think it looks really good.
And I presume that you want to put the hooks on after the paint is on.
Yeah, I think it would be better than cut around the hooks.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, pretty simple joinery, pretty simple hardware, but that's a really effective, good-looking piece. Nice job, Tommy.
Well, thanks for your help. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.